How much will 200 of Polkadot's native token called DOT potentially be worth in 2025? In today's video, let's find out. But I first want to begin by explaining how I'm not a financial advisor. These are all hypothetical scenarios, and there's absolutely no guarantee that any of it is going to happen. But with that being said, as of right now, 200 DOT is currently worth $1,700. And with that in mind, if DOT were to go to the price of $85, that would be a 10x from here, and 200 DOT at that point would be worth $17,000. And personally speaking, do I think that DOT could reach this price target during this bull run? I think so, because I do believe that Polkadot has very special fundamentals. That's what she said. And the reason for that is because Polkadot aims to solve a real-world problem. And what is that, right? They are aiming to solve the issue of lacking interoperability. Polkadot aims to connect blockchains together. Now, this is a very fancy words to some people, right? They may think, oh, wow, this is complete jargon. But it's actually not that difficult to understand, because when we take a look at it right now, there are so many blockchains out there, right? So many networks. But for the most part, they are independent of one another. And what happens as a result of that? They, for the most part, are not able to freely send data and value to each other, meaning that they often lack interoperability. And for instance, right, we take a look at a very popular example of an issue like this. We take a look at Bitcoin and Ethereum, two independent networks, and for the most part, they are not able to freely interact with one another. Again, right, they can't freely send data and value to each other, which of course is a major issue. But this is where Polkadot steps in, because quite essentially, through Polkadot, this is no longer a problem. That's how amazing Polkadot is. Again, right, they are focused on connecting blockchains together. They are focused on interoperability, which of course is very fantastic. So when you think about it, Polkadot, it's not a project that's there to exist, right? It's actually solving a real world problem, and it's solving an issue that's very prevalent as of right now. So when I consider the use case of Polkadot, and when I consider how it's fundamentally amazing, I don't see why its native token called DOT won't hypothetically go to the price of $85 during this bull run. At least that's the way I view it. Now, I do want to take a look at the next price target for DOT, and that is DOT at the price of $127.50. And at that point, 200 DOT would be worth $25,500. Now, some people, they may be wondering, why is the price target so specific? $127.50. But the reason for that is because as of right now, the current price of DOT is $8.50. So this is a number that makes sense, to calculate, right? But of course, ideally, this would be $125. But again, I'm putting it $127.50. But besides that point, this price target, I don't think it's unrealistic, because when I take a look at Polkadot, again, they're focused on interoperability. Now, this is a market that has insane potential, because when we take a look at the data, it shows that the interoperability market could potentially be worth, in 2028, over 3 times what it was when compared to 2023. I mean, you got to think about that, right? It has a lot of potential. So when those Polkadot ding-dongs, critics, naysayers, whatever you want to call them, right? Bratwurst extender fans, Lee the Captain edition, when they say that, oh, wow, Polkadot, it's focused on the wrong market. It's caca, it's trash, it's doo-doo. I disagree. I think it's focused on the right market, focused on a market that has insane potential. And when I take that into consideration, why is DOT at the price of $127.50? That's a mouthful. That's what she said. Why is that unrealistic during this bull run? I think not. And now, I do want to take a look at the next price target for DOT, and that is DOT at the price of $153. Now again, I would put it $150, but if I did, wouldn't make much sense in terms of the calculation, since the price of DOT as of right now is $8.50. But yeah, besides that point, 200 DOT at that point would be worth $30,600. And personally speaking, do I think that $153 is a realistic price target? I do think so, because I think that this bull run could be so legendary. And why is that? It's because as of right now, more people than ever before in history owning cryptocurrencies, over 500 million to be exact, around 575 million to be specific. That's according to Crypto.com research, which is insane, right? This is nearly double the amount that we saw when compared to the 2021 bull run. So I think that, if anything, truly visualizes as to just how crazy the FOMO and buying pressure could be during this bull run. It could be insane. When there's a statistic showing how there's over 500 million crypto owners, this bull run, it could look so insane. Hashtag Britney Spears. And when I take into consideration the potential craziness this bull run could have, right? And when I combine that with the fact that Polkadot has rock solid, that's what she said fundamentals, I don't see why DOT at the price of $153 is all that much. Now, when I say during the peak of this bull run, some people, they may wonder, when is the peak of the bull run, right? When is it going to happen? Now, here's the thing. Historically speaking, altcoins, they typically reach their peak anywhere between 6 to 12 months after a Bitcoin halving event. So that's either half a year or a year, again, right after a Bitcoin halving event. And of course, the Bitcoin halving event expected to happen sometime this April, which is, of course, this month. Now, we take a look at a worst case scenario, right? A year after April. That's next year in April, 2025. So if we take a look at the most worst case example, right? That's potentially altcoins reaching their peak a year around from now. So that's still quite some time. A lot of people, they're impatient. They're thinking that the bull run is supposed to happen in the next 2 hours or something crazy like that. But historically speaking, that's not how it works. If anything, it's good news for something like Polkadot, because more time for me to accumulate DOT. And also on top of that, more time for me to dollar cost average, of course. When it comes to Polkadot, I think it's a sleeping giant. Still has some time to really showcase what it could really be. DOT, I think it's going to shock the world yet again. And at the prices of $153, wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. I think if it were to reach that price target during this bull run, all of those Polkadot critics are going to come running over to their girlfriend's boyfriend's grandma and start begging for a used bratwurst extender, G-string, and thong, lead the Captain edition. Going to be a little bit embarrassing, but hey, it is what it is. And if you gain value from this video, make sure to subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. And also on top of that, check out this very fantastic video. I think you all would really love it. It's Believe the Captain, and I'll catch you all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.